Alright guys, let me just set this up real quickly. Let me just set this up real quickly. I may have to re-share a lot of this stuff across Facebook and stuff, so I do apologize for all this. I don't know if it's streaming or not. Should be. Yeah, it is. So, hold on for a second, guys. Hold on for a second. Let me just get certain things adjusted here. Oh, there we go. It is reading it, so hold on for a sec. I'll take care of stuff here. Not exactly the way I want to start it, if you know what I mean, but oops, I want to do that. So it's gonna be like the third time, so third time's the charm, I guess. Get this all situated. We can do this live in just a moment. Might put some chapters in here just so you guys can see, or just so you guys can go where you need to go and you know, enjoy it that way. Put light in there. There we go. It's just kind of weird that when you go and use your computer, I will say this, for some odd reason it likes to load. And when it loads, it slows down your internet. It's like saying, wait, let me do this first. And I think honestly they should just put like a notification out there saying, hey, you know, we're doing this, guys. So you might want to hold back a little bit. You might want to hold back. Just, you know, don't do anything just yet. And I think we're all good. I think we're all good here. As I will go back to classic TV or television here and delete the original post that I had and put a new one. So we'll put the new one on there. There we go. Come on. It's not even loading, but I think it's basically trying to like do an update and something like that, that being the computer. You know, and again, they should just, I mean, they should just basically go out, any computer, doesn't matter if it's a laptop or whatever, they should just go out and say, hey, we're doing an update right now behind in the background. It might slow you down, so we recommend don't do your computer. You know, that way people will be like, oh, okay, I get it. You know, don't use the computer. They're doing an update right now. They're cleaning out something or doing whatever. So that to me would be more significant, honestly. That would be more significant, honestly, in my opinion. But that's just me, you know. That's just me. So, but yeah, you see the title of this live stream as I'm trying to link it so you guys can see it. Oops, you don't want to do that. Hold on. I don't know what I just did there. That was weird. Hold on. Gotta do this again. There we go. Yeah, it's a little better. Now we can probably get it on the regular Twitch or Twitter and go like that. There we go. Perfect. All right. Just making sure everything is set up and ready to go. Now I'm going to double check my TV. Make sure everything's double ready to go there too. Yeah, it is. Yeah, the commercials are on. So I do apologize for any commercials that come on, if you will. Just what happens when you monetize, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. But yeah, it's just gotta deal with it. And yeah, it's working. All right, guys. So I do apologize for all that delay. I will probably put an intro in here in a moment. And by the way, super chats are opened right now. So as we get to the 7-minute mark, and again, like I say, super chats are open. Super thanks as well. And hello to those that have just joined me in the live chat. So yeah, let's talk about the event or the debut that's going to happen a week, or not a week, but a month, I should say a month from this Saturday. This Saturday, of course, is the 25th of May, which is the beginning. Actually, tomorrow's the beginning after Memorial Day weekend. And I all hope you guys have a safe and healthy one. And I do apologize for any bit of wind as we are now outside. But yeah, a month from now, a month from this Saturday, is the debut of MeTV Tunes. And I've been talking about it over the past few weeks, even before I went out to Kansas along with my older sister and her husband to see my dad. Everybody else has been talking about it. Black Comedy's been talking about it. I'm surprised John Campia hasn't talked about it, or Angry Joe. Channel Awesome, I'm kind of surprised hasn't talked about it, but eventually I think they will. I think the closer we get to the debut of this network, they will talk about it. But yeah, this is a huge deal for anybody that's still curious as to, you know why it's happening, why we're making it into such a huge deal. It's mainly because of the fact that you're getting a 24/7 animation network where basically the people behind it are telling you up front, hey, we're not going to do what Cartoon Network has done or Toon Disney when it was around had done. We're not going to bombard this network with all new original material, or we're not going to turn against what we stand for and add some live action stuff from the Disney Channel and everything like Toon Disney did. They're telling you straight up, hey, this is mainly meant for classic cartoons and nothing more. And they say the only original material you'll get is like documentaries and everything based on classic animation. And that's it. All these shows, 30-minute show, hour-long shows based on the history of classic animation. But with that said, we see the lineup of cartoons that are going to be debuting. And it seems that MeTV Tunes updates Twitter/X page is constantly, and I mean constantly, giving us on an almost daily, if not bi-daily basis, updates on what's going to be added or what's going to be part of the network. I mean, you look at the collage, like the one I used for my thumbnail, and you can see it's going to be more than what they advertised in that little trailer. I mean, you're going to get Silverhawks, which hasn't been on network television, on syndicated television since almost like I was a kid. You're going to get things like, Detective Droopy, which was a spinoff on Tom and Jerry Kids, which kind of gives you an indication that Tom and Jerry Kids might show up. You got all these shows and everything, classic animations that are going to be, re-debuting on over-the-air syndication for the first time in decades, for the first time in decades, years, if you will. And a lot of people are excited about this because basically this is how, they remember, people like me, remember animation being. We remember coming home from school and watching these weekday afternoon syndicated shows. We remember waking up on Saturday mornings and flipping through the channels, either by dial or by remote, and going from ABC to CBS to NBC, and then later on Fox, and then WB. We remember doing that and having our bowl of cereal or having our plate of pancakes and eggs and bacon. We even remember watching it when we'd go camping. Like I can recall several times going to Lake Comanche, California, and being with family, and me and my cousins and my sisters, one of the first things we would do on a Saturday morning that we'd be there is try to tune into that little television they had in the trailer and watch Saturday morning cartoons. These are memories, I should say, that basically no one should forget about. They shouldn't. They shouldn't forget about whatsoever. And now, like I said, you have these Twitter/X accounts that are updating, people on what shows are going to be included, upon the network's arrival, as well as, speculating of what else could be added. I mean, we see Silverhawks basically being part of this, and that obviously tells me and anybody else that Thundercats, the original Thundercats, from Rankin Bass, is also going to be part of this, as well. It's also going to be part of the the lineup of cartoons. And then not just them. You have, possibly the Filmation Ghostbusters being part of this, Count Duckula being part of this. I mean, even shows like Tiny Toons, the original Tiny Toon Adventures and the original Animaniacs. I mean, you see Freakazoid on there, and that should give you hope that that those other shows that Freakazoid spun off from is going to be part of this. Road Rovers being part of it. I mean, the possibilities are just endless. I mean, you look at Woody Woodpecker, and of course you're going to get the classic Woody Woodpecker cartoons from when he began up to the 60s, 70s, but you're probably also going to get Woody Woodpecker and Friends from the Fox run. That's right. Remember, he made a comeback on Fox Kids with the Woody Woodpecker and Friends show, where we had that more zany, I guess you could say, tomboyish Winnie Woodpecker. We're gonna have that. We're gonna have that show probably be on there. You could have, I was thinking, we know they have their own YouTube channel and the episodes are up on there, but Pink Panther and Sons could show up. That's something. Flintstone Kids could show up. Bionic 6, yes, they have their own, I think they have their own YouTube channel or something like that. I don't know if they do, but Bionic 6, Galaxy Rangers. I mean, and that's a notification. If you guys heard something, I do apologize. And that's live chat. And again, guys, super chats and super thanks are open if you want to help donate there. It'd be greatly appreciated. And I thank you guys for being part of this. It's really, really great, you guys being part of this live stream. But like I said, you're looking, like I said, what was it? What was I at? God, I just lost my, oh yeah, Flintstone Kids. Flintstone Kids. And again, that's a notification from Facebook from the Classic TV television group accepting my thing. But like I said, accepting my link to this live stream. But like I said, you got the Flintstone Kids on there. You could get a pup named Scooby-Doo on there. I mean, I mean, the list is just endless. And then there's a possibility you could get Hasbro involved. Hasbro has a lot of classic tunes. You know, they have the original G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, Transformers G1, they're celebrating the 40th anniversary. What better way for them to be part of that? I mean, yes, they're on the Hasbro Pulse channel, all the, 3.5, 4 seasons, if you will, of G1, but still, you can get that on there along with Beast Wars, and Beast Machines. You can get the original My Little Pony G1 and then G2, which is a My Little Pony Tales. And then heck, who knows, maybe, well, I know they say it's only for up to the 90s, but I think there's shows that are going to be included on there from the 2000s, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe, and this is just me, maybe Friendship is Magic shows up on there. Who knows? That could be a surprise. And, that could be a massive surprise. You could get Duck Dodgers on there, I think. You could get that. I mean, guys, the list is just endless. And obviously, they're not just going to do 24 hours straight of half-hour, 22-minute cartoons. No. They're going to probably do movies as well. And you got a whole peripheral of animated features outside of the Disney vault that could premiere, that could show up and premiere, on MeTV Tunes. You got that classic Oliver's Travels. You got, what else do you got? You got The Man Called Flintstone. Hey There, It's Yogi Bear. You can do the Superstar 10 series from Hanna-Barbera. I mean, heck, you can even bring back a lot. Here's what I'm thinking would be a huge deal. And I do apologize for the wind, but here's what I think would be a huge deal. No matter how you look at it, and that is bringing back, the weekend special show. I mean, who remembers ABC Weekend Special that grew up in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s? Who remembers CBS Story Break? I mean, you find those intros, there's now full episodes here on YouTube, and it brings back memories. They could do something similar, with this MeTV Tunes. They could do that. They could do that for Saturday morning. I mean, they could even do the weekday afternoon after-school specials like they used to. They could do that too, as long as it's animation, and I guarantee you people will go to it. They might even be able to make deals, to, get the licenses to air some of these specials and movies. I mean, when they talk about shows and specials and movies that have not been seen in decades, I have a whole DVD. I have two, actually. I have 2 full DVDs, if you will, of specials that aired on CBS Story Break, that aired on ABC Weekend Special, that aired, believe this, 52 years ago on the ABC Saturday Superstar movie. And they could bring those back. They could bring those back. I mean, tell me this. How many of you have heard of Popeye meets the Man Who Hated Laughter? How many of you have heard of that? Probably a lot, right? Probably a lot. And if not a lot, you're probably wondering, well, what's that? Popeye Meets the Man Who Hated Laughter was a mini movie as part of the ABC Saturday movie the Saturday Superstar movies block, which evolves into the weekend special. But it was an hour-long movie that focused on comic strip characters coming together, or being tricked into coming together by a guy that hated laughter. And these comic strip characters included, as far as I know, Beetle Bailey, High and Low, Blondie and Dagwood, and many others at that time. They didn't have Family Circus, but they had notable ones at that time, in that time period. And when I first watched it, not way back then, but when I found it on the internet and watched it, I was like, whoa, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. So they could utilize MeTV Tunes to bring specials like that back. they can, they could use, excuse me there, they could use this, new station to even air specials like Gidget, Gidget goes, what is it, the animated Gidget specials, if you will. They could do that. I mean, the list is, like I said, the list is just endless of movies and shows that if they are true to what they're promoting, have an opportunity to see the light of day for the first time. And I do apologize for that notification again. But they have the opportunity to see the light of day for the first time in decades. Decades, mind you. I mean, think about it this way, too. I don't know if they'd be able to do this. But we all know Disney had DTV, right? Disney Music Television, their answer to MTV. Well, Hanna-Barbera was able to basically answer that with their own, called HBTV. Imagine that. They talk about little insertions going to be happening throughout the 24/7 block, right? Or the 24/7 run, right? And it's not just some of this new material they might be doing that documents or talks about the history of classic animation or quizzes, the viewers on the classic animation. But they're giving off the vibes that it could be any kind of insertion of classic animation. Imagine if HBTV makes a comeback with this. Imagine that. And one of the shows they do promote that I'm sure a lot of fans are looking forward to is the classic Smurfs. And one of the things that got the Smurfs on, very, off the ground in a multimedia kind of fashion back in the day was their movie Smurfs and the Magic Flute. Imagine that. Imagine that making its debut or making its re-debut on this network. That movie would get people talking. People would be watching it that grew up in my time from the 80s, the 90s. And they'd be like, I remember this, I just haven't seen it for a while. Another movie that has yet to even get a DVD release. And Warner Brothers, excuse me, Warner Brothers has the rights to these characters. And these characters are going to be part of the block. And that's the GoBots, Challenge of the GoBots. Well, guess what theatrical movie they had? In the same year Transformers had theirs. GoBots Battle of the Rock Lords. Guess what? They could release Battle of the Rock Lords on MeTV Tunes as part of the movie block. I mean, I'm sure they're getting the schedule all finalized and everything, which is great. But they could end up as part of, like, let's say, the 2-hour movie block that they dedicate, whatever day that might be. And they could dedicate that to animated films that have not been seen in a long time. And one of them could be Battle of the Rock Lords. Imagine tuning in, thinking, okay, I want to see what the movie's going to be, or flipping through I wouldn't say flipping through the channels, but basically scrolling through the guide on your television to see what the movie's going to be on whatever day they choose it to be on. And you see that it's advertised to be GoBots Battle of the Rock Lords. I mean, come on. That to me is huge. But you know what's even crazier too is you have other shows that right now have been released on YouTube, have been given some DVD releases, but have not seen over-the-air syndication release in decades. One of them has been making a comeback with different iterations and continuations, whatever you want to call them, is the Masters of the Universe line. He-Man and She-Ra. And we're not talking the Netflix ones that have come out over the past several years. No. We're talking classic Filmation. Imagine He-Man and She-Ra, the original Filmation shows, making their re-debut on syndicated television on MeTV Tunes. And in addition to that, imagine the movie, The Secret of the Sword, being part of whatever 2-hour block they have of animated films that have not been seen in a long time. Imagine that, ladies and gentlemen. Again, scrolling, through your TV guide on your screen, on your cable TV or whatever it is you use, and you notice that on whatever day they choose to do the movie block on, you see Secret of the Sword. I'm just saying. I think that would be crazy to see. But the original Filmation, He-Man and She-Ra, as a part of this, I'm all for it. Because originally, when these people, these Wiggler broadcasting people started to, create these networks, and one of them was with animation at times, and this was like, what, 5, 6, 7 years ago? Some of the animation they picked up was He-Man and She-Ra. So to me, to have Secret of the Sword be part of whatever movie block, because they're going to do a movie block, maybe back-to-back movie blocks on a certain night, that's going to be huge. That's going to be great. And then, of course, you look at shows that are not advertised yet, that just like some that have YouTube channels, they too have YouTube channels, but have not seen, over the air or broadcast network, showcasing in a long time. And we're talking shows like the one, because here's what was crazy. And I did a audio video, on-screen video about this, or audio one. Oh, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't that. It was a Topics on My Mind live stream. It was my recent Topics on My Mind live stream I did, I think last week, on Friday, a week ago almost, tomorrow. And I talked about the fact that Sonic Sat-AM was trending. And I was wondering, and everybody was wondering, like, why is Sat-AM trending? And I gave my thoughts. On that in my Topics on My Mind live stream. And I said, I believe the reason it's trending is because fans know that Inspector Gadget, which is also a Wild Brain / Deep animation property, DIC that is, they see that it's getting, it's getting a slot, trying to find the right word to say, it's getting a slot on MeTV, on the MeTV Tunes. So they figure, well, if it's getting a slot, and Heathcliff, possibly the Cadillac Cats one, as well as Marmaduke and Batfink, those ones are getting slots, then why not Sonic Sat-AM? And I think, honestly, that's what fans are hoping for. It's Sonic the Hedgehog, because you got the third movie coming. They're hoping MeTV Tunes announces that Sonic the Hedgehog Adventures, Sat-AM, and Underground are heading to MeTV Tunes. That's probably what they're hoping for. And you know what? If it happens, that to me, there's an old saying that goes like this. That if that happens, game over. Game over. Because if you're gonna put those on there, then the door is opened. The forbidden door, as wrestling puts it nowadays, is open for anything to come through, anything to be part of it, from the 50s, and there's a hummingbird right there, pretty cool, but from like the 50s to the 60s, the 40s, the 30s, the 20s, believe it or not, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, anything is possible. Anything is open. If it's not Disney related, it is possible. And that's why people would use the term when they hear of the possibility of things like that happening. That's when they kind of come out and say game over, game changer. Because it would be. It would be. And there's other shows too that are not even talking about from the 90s and the early 2000s that could see the light of day. You got SWAT Cats, the Radical Squadron. You got, if they want to put in some 2000 shows, early to mid 2000 shows, whether people liked it or not, you got Lunatics Unleashed. I mean, come on. If you're going to possibly put in Tiny Toon Adventures, the original Animaniacs, along with Freakazoid, I'm just saying, the door is open for anything to come through, anything to possibly occur. I mean, here's the thing too. Excuse me. Here's the thing too. one of the characters advertised for debut on MeTV Tunes is Yogi Bear, right? Well, like I said, you got that possible movie block, back-to-back movie block, whatever night and day it's going to be. You got his Hey There's Yogi Bear movie. You got his Superstar 10 movies. I mean, you could do a Yogi Bear movie marathon. I mean, yeah, you wouldn't include that would exclude the live action film, but still, animation-wise, you want to do a Yogi Bear marathon to celebrate how many years he's been around now? Almost 70? Or going to be, 65 or whatever? I mean, there you go. Hey There's Yogi Bear, Yogi's Great Escape, Yogi and the Magical, Flight of the Spruce Goose, and Yogi and the Invasion of Space Bears. I mean, come on. And you can do the same with Scooby-Doo. You can take all his animated Superstar 10 movies and go with that, including Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood. I mean, possibilities are just endless. And then you look at like the Jetsons meet the Flintstones, Rocking with Judy Jetson. I mean, get this. No, get this. All right. So, the Boomerang app only has the Flintstones I Yabba Dabba Doo movie. They don't have Holly Rockabye Baby. I'm fortunate enough to have both official DVDs from Warner Archive. Guess what? They can do a Flintstones movie marathon. The Man Called Flintstone, Holly Rock, I Yabba Dabba Doo, and Holly Rockabye Baby. On whatever night they decide to do a movie block, because again, they will not do all 24/7 movie network, a movie over the air network, without not movie network. Trying to find where I said. Okay, let me backtrack. What I'm saying is, as well as I do, that they will not do a 24/7 over the air animation network with all these properties, excluding Disney. They would not do it unless they're going to dedicate 1 or 2 nights, throughout the week, maybe the weekend possibly, to airing animated movies and maybe marathon of animated movies. They wouldn't put this together unless they have something like that in mind, and they probably do. So to me, I look at it like this. They want to do a Flintstones marathon. You could do Man Called Flintstone, the Jetsons Meet the Flintstones. You could do I Yabba Dabba Doo, and you could do Holly Rockabye Baby. I mean, you got back-to-back movies. And you could start this marathon, let's see, Pacific and Eastern time, you could start this marathon at, noon, right at noon. And you can go from 12 to 2 with Man Called Flintstone. You can go from 2 to 4, okay, I almost lost my train of thought there. Like I said, if they're going to do this, I apologize, I lost my train of thought there. I was thinking about the hours, time-wise and everything. I think that's what threw me off. I do apologize. But anyway, I mean, imagine them, doing a movie block on a Friday or a Saturday, whatever it is, starting at noon or 1 Eastern Pacific time. Imagine you having, Man Called Flintstone, and then you follow that up with Jetsons Meet the Flintstones. So let's say you start the marathon at noon to 2, Man Called Flintstone. From 2 to 4, Jetsons Meet the Flintstones. From 4 to 6, I Yabba Dabba Doo. And from 6 to 8, Holly Rockabye Baby. Heck, you could even start it an hour later than that. You can go from 1 to 3, Man Called Flintstone. From 3 to 5, Jetsons Meet the Flintstones. From 5 to 7, I Yabba Dabba Doo. And from 7 to 9, Holly Rockabye Baby. I mean, again, the opportunities, the possibility is out there, ladies and gentlemen. It is out there to take. It is out there to make happen. I mean, they could even take, and this is what's crazy about this too. They can even take the movies, the TV movie pilots for Thundercats, the original Thundercats, the original Silverhawks, Brave Star, and they can air them as well as part of those movie blocks, just so you could see them without, any to be continues added to them. Like I said earlier, Secret of the Sword is one way of doing that too. And if they add Transformers and G.I. Joe and My Little Pony, G1 that is, oh, like I said with Sonic, game over. Game over. And again, super chats are open, guys. If you want to help donate that way, it'd be greatly appreciated. But like I said, game over. I mean, imagine this. Imagine this, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine this, okay? Imagine, those shows being on there, okay? Those shows being on there. Transformers, G.I. Joe, Gem and the Holograms. Imagine Inhumanoids. That hasn't been seen in years. And here you got an opportunity to put it back on the air. Holy crap. But imagine this. Transformers Generation 1. They just had a 40th anniversary event in the theaters, right? Selected theaters. Imagine them taking the first 3 episodes, presenting them as a movie on a weekend, a weekday or whatever. Imagine them doing the same with G.I. Joe, taking all the miniseries for each season, and presenting them as a movie. Imagine them taking the My Little Pony, I guess you could say, and the Flood of Valley movie, which was a pseudo sequel to the G1 movie. Imagine them putting those all out there, not in miniseries form, which they will, there's no doubt, but imagine them putting them in as full-length movies on those movie block nights. That could happen. And on top of that, you can even have the feature-length films, part of those as well. You could have Transformers, the movie, edited form, that is, with only the word damn in there. I mean, if they put the word S-H-I-T, that'd be a surprise. But yeah, you can get the original release of the movie on VHS, where it was just, on VHS, where you just had Ultra Magnus say damn, and that's it. You could have that get shown. You could have G.I. Joe the movie get shown. You could have My Little Pony G1 get shown. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Gem and the Holograms. You had multi-miniseries, for each season with them too, right? Imagine doing the Gem origin movie, the beginning, if you will, as part of that. And then maybe the talent search one for season 2. I mean, come on. I'm just salivating right now. I'm just salivating right now, and I'm getting a lot of live chats here, so thank you guys for joining. But I'm just salivating right now. Salivating at those possibilities. And again, like I said, you have all the classic animation movies from the past too. Gulliver's Travels. You have, what is that? That one that was kind of a play on Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. That, what is it, Mr. B or something like that goes to Washington. It's an insect, caterpillar or something that is in that role. You got that. You got Fire and Ice from Ralph Bakshi. I mean, holy smokes. You got Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings you could show. I mean, my goodness. That would be, to me, that would be huge to gain those. And then, of course, you have the compilation Looney Tune movies that they've done. Like the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner movie, the Looney Bugs Bunny movie, Daffy Duck's Fantastic Island, Bugs Bunny's 1001 Rabbit Tales, Daffy Duck Crackbusters. I mean, come on. I mean, who wouldn't want to sit down on a Friday night or Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, whenever they would do it, and watch a marathon of those movies back to back to back? That, to me, is what MeTV Tunes may do. Because, again, as I mentioned earlier, they're not about to put this kind of a network together without dedicating 1, if not 2 days to animated movies that have not been seen on network over-the-air network television in decades. They are not about to do that, without planning something like that out. I mean, if I was part of the MeTV Tunes crew, I would take what I did with Sonic SatAM, the final 4 episodes of the which I entitled the Doomsday Project Saga or the Doomsday Project movie, and I would say, put this out there as a movie too. These are the final 4 episodes. Put those out, as a movie. Just as it's put together. And I guarantee you, if they were to do something like that, that would get a lot of attention. That would get, people talking. It would. And you know what's crazy too? Is you have other shows, animated shows, animes, if you will, that have not been seen in decades. And some of them could be very educational, if not very moralish, from a religious standpoint. Like, for example, and tell me if you guys remember this one, the original anime version of Superbook. They could do that. That would be huge. They could do that. And I guarantee you people would probably tune in and watch it. They could even, if they want to, go out and say, what other shows could we get that have animation in it, but not entirely, but would fit in because of the animation added, and because animation is a strong part of it, even by a few minutes. What could we add? They could get Secret Adventures. Yeah, that Christian show. Or Mac and Me, if they want to. Those are shows that, even though the mostly live action, the animation portion, in my opinion, would more than justify for them to get the opportunity to be on MeTV Tunes. I mean, I'm just thinking, guys, of everything, animation-wise, that along with what we know, could be added in. I mean, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, the animated show, we got the Mask animated show coming on there. Being part of this according to the advertisements. Ace Ventura is obviously a lock as well. Obviously it's a lock as well. So you can't tell me they won't put that on there, because they will. They will. And what's crazy too is you have a lot of these animated shows based off of not syndicated, but network, network shows, primetime network sitcoms. I mean, okay, you have Happy Days, right? Everybody knows what Happy Days is, right? But did you know it had a spinoff called Fonzie and the Happy Days Gang? Yep, it did. And that was animated, and people liked it. I'm not going to be surprised if that shows up. You got Abbott and Costello and their animated, adventures happening. Why not that one? Why not the Three Stooges, if you will? I'm just saying. And if that's not all, what about the show that spun off from Happy Days? Laverne and Shirley. Ever hear of Laverne and Shirley in the Army? Animated Saturday morning cartoon. Bam! Right there. What about the Brady Kids? What about the Partridge Family? You got all these, live action, shows, sitcoms based around families and bands and whatever that can make an appearance, can make a return on MeTV Tunes. They could. The Jackson 5, I mean, goodness. I mean, I could just be here all day. Talking about this. And then what about the shows that have not, and again, how about these other shows like Voltron, Defender of the Universe? And I'm not talking the Netflix revival. I'm not talking the 3D animated one, although that may get a pass. I'm talking the classic anime. I'm talking that. I mean, that would be huge. That would basically get people talking. And then get this. So you have Toonami making a return with its rewind block, right? Imagine if those shows that are on the rewind block, imagine if those shows, some of them end up on MeTV Tunes. Imagine you're tuning in, and all of a sudden you see Sailor Moon. You tune in, you see original Dragon Ball. Maybe, edited and all that, but who knows? And that'd be like huge. You got this, this one anime they're doing with this whale or dolphin, whatever it is. Why not do an anime block, of classic shows from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s? I mean, one show I remember watching on WTBS, Gotcha Man, Battle of the Planets, if you will. Why not that? Hello? That'd be huge. That would be huge. I'm just saying. Speed Racer, of course, is going to be part of it, so why not? You have that one anime, if you will, again with that dolphin, Speed Racer, Battle of the Planets, Sailor Moon, Gigantor, Astro Boy. I mean, come on, you could do a whole anime block with those shows, and people like those watching and super chatting, and well, not super chatting, but live chatting with me here, maybe super chatting, people watching, me right now live as I'm doing this, would totally agree with it. Would totally agree that, yeah, they would sit down for 2 hours and watch those animes. They would. And there's more animes that I'm not even thinking of. More animes as well. I mean, okay. So we know about Mobile Suit Gundam, right? We know about that. We know about Robotech, right? We know about that, right? But Robotech is, what is it? Marcross or whatever it's called? That could be part of this? I mean, my goodness. I'm just, again, as I said earlier, I'm salivating. I am just drooling. And I know people watching this right now live or watching this later, post-live, they're doing the same thing. Just the fact that, that all of this could become a reality. All of this. And it would be worth it in the end. It would be worth it in the end. And I think everybody knows that. And I think MeTV Tunes knows this as well. They know it. They know it would be worth it in the end. The people I watch here on YouTube when it comes to, wrestling analysis, like JD from NY206 of Off the Script, Solomonster sounds off. Alex, it's just Alex's world. OTR Central, I guarantee you that them that grew up in the 80s and the 90s, they hear about this and they're like, oh, let me at it. Let me at it. And I guarantee you, people like Black Nerd Comedy, Andre Meadows, he did a video on this. He's excited because he knows there's going to be more to come. There's going to be more to come, man. And what's crazy is, they're going back to what I mentioned earlier. They talk about, oh, we're going to have shows and movies on here that haven't seen the light of day in decades. Really? You're going to have those kind of shows. You're going to have those kind of movies. Here's my question to you guys. What would your thoughts be if all of a sudden one of those shows that airs on MeTV Tunes, Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling? What would your thoughts be to that? What would your thoughts be to that? To me, I'm salivating. I'm salivating thinking about that. Whoo! I mean, imagine Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling, and then right after it, I don't know what, you get the original 83 Dungeons and Dragons show, which may or may not be allowed to be seen in certain households because, of religious beliefs. But imagine that. And then if that's not all, how about this? Berenstein Bears. And I'm not talking the PBS run. I'm talking the OG 80s run, along with the specials, and maybe mix it in. Maybe you mix it in with the new PBS ones. That would be huge. That would be a huge deal. And then, like I said earlier, one show I think that MeTV could do to add to the nostalgic flair and kind of have it help them promote MeTV Tunes and maybe even put it on MeTV Tunes as an exception because of its educational value. Romper Room. Just saying, Romper Room could be part of this because of, and it could be an exception. Education and everything. And we're talking maybe, the national versions, or maybe if they work out some kind of deal, you can get the classic local versions. I'm telling you, that would be a huge hit. And I guarantee you a lot of teachers, preschool teachers, like my mom would be very happy, with its, return in some capacity. But then you have other shows I'm not even thinking of, that that people love, like What a Mess. And I'm not talking the British version of What a Mess, the silent version. I'm talking the ABC version. I'm talking, you know, I'm talking the fact that we saw What a Mess's mom. And I guarantee you, if people want to make her anamorphic, whoo, there's another waifu for the furry community. All due respect when I say that. But then you got that. You got Wild West Cowboys of Moon Mesa. I'm just saying. I'm just like holy. It's like holy. Got the Twisted Tales of Felix Cat. I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. You know, you got a whole. You know, like I said, you have a whole unlimited list, peripheral list of animation from cartoon series to movies and everything over the past 70, 80 years that, as they have noted, have not seen the light of day in so long, that when they do see the light of day, mostly over the air, light of day, it's going to be a moment to remember. It's going to be a moment to remember. As I check something here, guys, hold on. It's going to be a moment to remember, and I guarantee you people will enjoy it. They will enjoy it. They will love it. And as I've said before, I truly believe, and again, I do apologize for the wind. I truly believe, as I check the time here, I truly believe this is going to wake up a lot. This is going to wake up a lot of the networks, the major networks out there, CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox, the CW. It's going to wake them up, and it's going to make them realize that they made a huge, and I mean massively huge mistake in getting rid of Saturday morning cartoons. They're going to see, this network, 24/7, taking away viewership from all their shows in prime time and daytime and Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings. And they're going to be like, okay, maybe there's still an audience here. Maybe we do need to get back into the Saturday morning cartoon game. And I almost feel and guarantee that it may not be within 6 months of this network debuting. It may not be within, it may not be within the next year, but I guarantee you, when they start seeing those ratings slip, especially with our new shows and stuff, and they start hearing about the ratings for MeTV Tunes rising up, I guarantee you, they will reevaluate that decision made back in the early to mid 2000s, and they're going to say, we made a mistake. Let's get back to what brought us to the dance. Let's get that audience back. And I almost feel like what will happen is they will talk, to certain outlets. I could see ABC talking, with Disney, because Disney owns them, and saying, hey, can we have some of your shows off Disney Plus, like X-Men 97? Can we have X-Men? Can we have Rescue Rangers? Can we have Gargoyles? Can we have them back? Or can we have them to air on our Saturday morning block? And I guarantee you, Disney, knowing that they're losing out, on ratings and viewership because of MeTV Tunes, will be more than glad to say, hey, take what you need. And the same with the CW. The CW, CBS, NBC, they'll be talking to Universal and Warner Brothers and saying, hey, we want to acquire, the license to air some of your new shows or some of your classic shows. I guarantee you're going to see that happen. And a lot of the shows that are streaming exclusive right now, before you know it, will be Saturday morning, will be seen on Saturday mornings on those various major networks, because they're going to see the decline in viewership and ratings because of MeTV Tunes, and they're going to realize they made a huge, huge mistake in getting rid of Saturday morning cartoons. And what this is going to cause is a renaissance in animation and Saturday morning and weekday afternoon, weekday morning cartoon blocks. Not just over-the-air syndication, but major broadcast networks too. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised this is just me, guys. I am not going to be surprised if all of a sudden you start seeing some shows that are meant for adults might get dumbed down, edited down a little bit to be put on the Saturday morning cartoons, or Saturday morning blocks on major networks. I would not be surprised if, and I was just looking at birds go by there. I would not be surprised, and that was a notification, I do apologize. I would not be surprised if VizzyPop gets contacted and said, hey, hey, Vizzy, this is the CW, or hey, Vizzy, this is NBC. We want to acquire Hell of a Boss for our Saturday morning block, but we might have to change it to Heck of a Boss, for reasons, and we might have to tone it down just a bit, but we want a more family-friendly version of your show, and we'll give you the money to do it. I would not be surprised if something like that happens. I would not be surprised if something like Lackadaisy gets an opportunity like that. Toned down, but I would not be surprised. The point that I'm getting at here is that a message is being sent. A message has been sent by the Generation Xers, the Generation Yers, and surprisingly to an extent, the Generation Zers, but mostly the generations before them, the Generation Xers, the Generation Yers, the Generation, Ws, if you will. They are sending a message. They're saying, that animation, classic animation, is here to stay and it's never going away, and that basically you, the big networks out there, made a huge, massive mistake in getting rid of Saturday morning cartoons. You made a huge mistake, and now you're going to see the price. It was a long time coming, but the price that will be paid for that mistake. And I guarantee you, these networks will contact the ones that are not owned by certain companies, like ABC being owned by Disney. They will venture out and they will talk to other people. They will talk to Warner Bros. They will talk to Universal. They will talk to various anime companies. They will talk to various YouTube creations and say, hey, we want to fund your show. We want to bring it to Saturday mornings. Just tone it down a little bit, but we want to bring it to Saturday mornings because we're getting back into the Saturday morning block business. I would not be surprised if this all occurs in time. Not right away, but in time, because of what this is going to do. But again, outside of the shows that they're advertising, for, MeTV Tunes, which begins a month from this Saturday. Again, imagine shows. I mean, I'm just thinking about this, man. I'm just thinking about, like, Captain Planet. I think he's advertised. He's going to be back. He's going to be on there. I mean, what else? What else is there? Like Gumby, he could be on there. We're talking classic Gumby from the 60s and classic Gumby from the 80s. Even the Gumby movie. I mean, holy smokes. I mean, they're already advertising the marionette shows like Thunderbirds. And that's somebody's alarm going off. I do apologize for that. That's 2 alarms going off now. But like I said, imagine something like that being on there. I mean, it's just, I can't even. Denver, the Last Dinosaur? I mean, that show could show up as part of this? I mean, holy smokes. That could be part of this? Dinosaur, what is it? Cadillac and Dinosaurs could be part of this? Dinosaurs could be part of this. Conan the Adventurer could be part of this. Biker Mice from Mars, the 90s show, and even the continuation could be part of this. I mean, holy smokes. I mean, the Battletoads, I think they had a show for a short time. Bucky O'Hare had a show. These are shows that, I think are destined. They are destined to be part of the Saturday, part of this MeTV Tunes lineup of shows. And I don't know what the heck that was. That was something. But again, they are destined to be part of this MeTV Tunes network of shows. just by the fact that, again, the promotion is, oh, we're bringing back shows that have not seen the light of day in decades, and movies as well. I mean, come on, those fit the lineup too. Those fit the lineup too. So I can honestly see that all happening. I can. And I know people watching this and been watching it for the past hour, and I appreciate this. I appreciate that, I mean. And super chats are open as I get ready to close this down. But I guarantee you, shows like that, shows like Pirates of Darkwater, Prince Valiant, and many others, are definitely bound for this network. They're definitely bound for this network. I mean, yeah, you could fill up a majority of the network with nothing but Warner Brothers shorts from the beginning, to what, to the recent early 90s, with Castle, Carrot Blanca, if you will. You could do that, and it would still not be enough, because people would want more. And obviously MeTV Tunes plans to give them more outside of that. So I am just salivating at this opportunity. I mean, heck, you're fans of the original Care Bears, you might even see those show up. I'm just saying. And then along with that, you could get like I mentioned earlier, with those movie blocks that they're going to set up, you could get the Care Bears movie, the Care Bears movie 2 New Generation, Care Bears Adventures in Wonderland. I mean, come on. Seriously, the possibilities, my friends, are endless. And I don't think anybody listening to this live right now, watching me live right now, or watching me post live would disagree with that. I don't think anybody would. But yeah, what can I say any more than what I just mentioned? What can I say? I mean, think about it this way. Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates has not seen the light of day in a long time. That could show up. Holy smokes. I mean, the animated Tales from the Crypt. That animated version of Saturday mornings could show up. The animated version of Beetlejuice, I think, is going to be part of this. Just in time, because you got the Beetlejuice movie, the sequel to the original 88-89 film. It just dropped a new trailer today. You got that coming out in September. What better timing? I'm just saying. But yeah, I can't say any more than that. I mean, what other shows can I think of? Matty Max, James Bond Jr. I mean, the list is, like I said, the list just goes on and on. I mean, you could even do if MeTV Tunes wants to, they could do a marathon of, of pilots, of just one-time pilots that were meant to be something more like a series, but never went past anything but the pilot. They could do that. What's crazy? I look on YouTube. Somebody uploaded an animated film that was advertised here, and I had not seen it in a long time. Freddy the Frog, basically the animated film with the frog as a double agent, or James Bond-like agent. I mean, come on. That to me could be perfect for an animated movie block or animated movie presentation on a certain night. But again, I'm just saying. And you know what's crazy? Since it's going to be 24/7, they can even, and it's in syndication. It's in syndication right now. They could will be in syndication, I should say. Just getting a little distracted there. I do apologize. But since it's going to be in syndication, it's going to be 24/7. They could do late night blocks. Knowing that kids are going to be asleep, why not do late night blocks with more adult content? Not like total hentai content and all that. No, I'm talking more along the lines of the more mature stuff, back in the day. Even, from movies to animation, from animated series to movies. I mean, they could do that. I mean, there's an animated series that CBS did in prime time that we've not seen in a long time, Fishtails. That could be something they do. I mean, again, possibilities are there. The shows are there. And all we just have to do is count down the days, from today and especially this Saturday to June 25th to see exactly outside of what's been advertised, to see what else is going to be part of this, in the long run, and what will be added in the days and months that follow the MeTV Tunes debut. But anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to come on here with this live stream, that went for a little longer than I think I originally planned. But again, the list of cartoon shows and movies that have not been seen in a long time that could be part of MeTV Tunes, like I said, it's just endless. And if there's any more that I have not thought of, let me know in the comment section below, as I go back and watch this. I know I missed some of the live chats. I do apologize. And if you did super chat, me a donation, that's greatly appreciated. If not, you could do it through the super thanks. Also, check out my Teespring store as well for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. Be greatly appreciated. And you will see this show up once it's all settled in and, processed and everything via the YT. You will see this on other outlets like rumble.com and even my anchor.fm, my podcast, BW Rossas, which is BWROSAS-S discussions through your various podcast affiliates. But anyway, though, guys, thank you all for tuning in live and listening to me kind of ramble, on this. But let me know, guys. Let me know what else you think might show up as part of MeTV Tunes that's not Disney, that you think would have a chance on this network, to be a part of it, from shows to movies that we may have not known of or heard of in a long time, or seen in a long time, I should say. What do you think could be part of this outside of what I've mentioned? And until next time, guys, I will talk to you all later. God bless. Take care. You have a good rest of your day.